What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee from the Wrestlebread podcast, and I thought I would just pop in real quick and just kind of give my opinion on some of the biggest news that is going on in wrestling today. And of course, the biggest news is with Cody Rhodes leaving AEW. And assuming that he's going to go to WWE, that's what a lot of the rumors are reporting, a lot of the news outlets are reporting. And it would kind of make sense for him to go to WWE because if he was to go to New Japan, that's something he could do under contract with AEW. If he was going to go to, if he was going to help out Ring of Honor, for example, or this new promotion that EC3 is coming out with, he could easily do that with AEW. And so the only likelihood is him going to WWE. And then you wonder, well, why is he going to WWE? Is it for money? It can't be for like booking power or anything like that because that's what he had kind of in AEW. So I have, two different thinkings as far as with this story. This could either look very bad for Tony Khan, or it could look very bad for Cody Rhodes. So how it could look bad for Tony Khan? Well, allegedly there was an issue with the booking decisions. Well, the booking with the power of booking with Cody Rhodes. So it's like, okay, well, is it the booking with like the women's division, or maybe having more diversity being booked in AEW correctly, or the proper booking as far as with storylines and stuff like that? Because AEW is kind of like, sometimes it comes off like an MMA where they just like put this person against this person against this person, which can work if you're like, once a month type of what the way they were before, where it was just nothing but pay-per-views, or if their shows was once a month. It's kind of hard to remember storylines because there's, a break between each show. However, when it comes to week, you really got to give us a storyline or a reason why these two people are constantly fighting each other week in and week out. And it can't just be, oh, next Wednesday we're going to have this person go against this person. And then we're going to have them face each other again. And they're going to face each other at the next pay-per-view. And now they're going to face each other in a no-holds bar, falls count anywhere, lights out, and all this other stuff. And it's like, you have to tell us why. Why are you doing this? Why should we care? So if it comes, and I can't wait for Cody Rhodes to tell his story. I am like anticipating what's, going to happen. If he does go with WWE, like I want to know the contract details. Um, does he get to keep his two shows? I highly doubt he keeps that reality show Rose to the Top because Tony Khan was the one of the producers with that show, and also it was mainly about him being backstage. I am curious if he's going to be able to keep the Go Big show, seeing as though not only is it on TNT, but normally with WWE, a lot of the talent aren't able to have the opportunity of creating additional income streams outside of WWE. And we've seen it with a lot of people on Twitch and Cameo and stuff like that. And now there's issues with Xavier Woods and his Up, Up, Down, Down show and being on G4 as far as the way that WWE is treating the way he's getting paid. But back to my point. So it could look really bad on Tony Khan if Cody Rhodes was to come out and say, look, I left because I wanted to make a change in AEW and I wanted to help out the women's division. I wanted to help out as far as, getting more diverse wrestlers onto the screen and into, title pictures, stuff like that. And Tony Khan was very stubborn. That would look really bad on Tony Khan. And then, yeah, you can say from there, it could be a possible decline, the death of AEW, because if it comes out that, Cody Rhodes is really trying to make changes in wrestling, but Tony Khan is like being this stubborn billionaire now, yeah, who's going to want to watch it knowing what's going on? I mean, even if you have Bryan Danielson and CM Punk and stuff like that, in the back of your mind, you're going to be like, okay, well, is Tony Khan really caring about the rest of the roster type of situation? And that's pretty much the only thing I could think of how it would really look bad on Tony Khan's part. Now, as far as with Cody, there's a lot of different factors of how this could look bad on Cody Rhodes. I understand wanting to get paid what you feel like you're worth. The thing that I have the issue with, and we've been seeing this for the past couple of weeks, I feel like it could be a money issue, it could be an ego type of issue. Cody Rhodes wanted to be the biggest babyface. And this is my opinion. If you don't agree with it, you can let me know in the comments how you feel. But this is my opinion. I could be completely wrong about it. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong about it. But this is what I gathered from the way that the things that Cody Rhodes has said and from what I've been seeing on TV. Now, when AEW first started, he was the biggest underdog babyface. Went against MJF, great storyline. He went against Brody Lee. That was a great storyline and everything. And then the wrestling has changed since then. Well, AEW. Now we have CM Punk. We have Bryan Danielson. We have Adam Cole. We're getting a lot more. We have Darby Allin coming up. We have Sammy Guevara and everything like that. Britt Baker. So now there's a lot of more wrestlers for people to cheer for. And Cody Rhodes is no longer that underdog babyface that he always wanted to be. And so with him being booked and putting over certain people that a lot of the wrestling fans felt as though, he shouldn't have gone over, especially with Anthony Ogogo. A lot of people felt as though Cody Rhodes shouldn't have won that match, that Anthony should have won that match. But the fact that all that happened and the fans starting to turn on Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes pretty much saying he don't want to be heel. And the reason why he had gave, if correct me if I'm wrong, but he mentioned how he didn't want his daughter to see him as heel, even though his daughter was just born. And to my opinion, I'm like, if your daughter Googles your name, she's going to see Stardust. She's going to see all the shit that you did in WWE, and you were a heel there anyway. So it's like, okay. So what I gathered from it is that I feel as though that Cody wants to be just like his dad. I don't think his dad was ever a heel. His dad was always the underdog babyface that everyone had loved and looked up to and stuff. And he looked up to Dusty. And I feel as though he wants to be booked very similar to Dusty and have his daughter grow up and look up at her dad and stuff like that as she gets older and everything. But the times of Dusty Rhodes was completely different back then. And on top of that, Dusty had heels, great heels to work against. And nowadays, like him booking against Anthony Ogogo, well, you know, nowadays wrestling fans do not boo a heel just because they're a heel, especially in AEW. AEW, they don't really go into face and heels like that. If they like a heel, they'll cheer for the heel. If they don't like the face, as we've seen, they will boo the face. And so I feel as though Cody is just so stubborn of not wanting to be this heel. And we saw it when he cut that promo in the ring when he was talking about the ladder match against Sammy Guevara. He mentioned how he built the forbidden door and he's been here since day one and stuff like that, basically wanting the respect of the fans. And I think what he's confusing himself is that people respect Cody Rhodes, the EVP, the guy who created, helped create AEW and created this platform for a lot of the wrestlers. A lot of people respect that. A lot of people just don't like Cody the wrestler. He has turned into 2015 Roman Reigns, where he is trying to be booked at this underdog babyface, and he's not an underdog babyface. And it would have worked if he was that delusional heel. It would have been it would have worked perfectly if he was that delusional heel. Unfortunately, with that, and then with Brandy Rhodes on top of it, wanting to get in the ring and cutting promos against Dan Lambert, and we saw how that went. It's just like you have to kind of like humble yourself and really like take a step back and just say like, okay, what's going on here and how can we fix it? And so if they're leaving because they feel as though they should be paid what they're worth, they want to be the babyface underdog and stuff like that, it's like, come on, man. Sometimes you have to like, sometimes you have to, sometimes you have to just really take a step back. And eventually down the line, hey, if there is a big heel similar to MJF for him to feud against, maybe he could be that underdog, but I don't know. The fact that he was the EV, it kind of gave people the authority type of situation where you knew Cody had is in a position of power and booking power, and he's booking himself in matches as the underdog, and is booking himself to put himself over, not the other people. And then if it's about money, I can understand people. You want to get your raise, you want to get paid what you're worth and stuff. But if he's leaving simply for money, then in my opinion, his reasoning for creating AEW was all bullshit. Because he was, wanting to promote this, company where people are treated right and this revolution and, taking over pro wrestling and stuff like that and wanting to make changes. And you kind of like have to ask yourself, like, with all that, were you trying to help out others or were you trying to help out yourself? You know, if you were trying to help out others, like, sometimes you have to, it's like very difficult to talk about because we don't know how much he was trying to get paid more by. If he was trying to get paid as much as Dan Bryan and CM Punk and stuff like that, which, in that thought process, you would say, well, Bryan Danielson and CM Punk are a draw in that company, truthfully. People will pay money to go see CM Punk. People will pay money to see Bryan Danielson. Not a lot of people will pay money to go see Cody Rhodes of today. When the show first started and everything like that, yeah, everybody wanted to see Cody Rhodes. Everybody wanted to sing a song and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's just little things about it. Like it when I really think about it, it's just little things that like gives me ego. Like the fact that he always had the longest entrance. I mean, he shortened it after a lot of people complained about it, but he's the only one that goes through that elevator in center stage. I mean, Tony Khan takes the stairs. Everyone takes the stairs. Um, he has the big pyro and stuff like that, and the he had the Nightmare Factory. It's just like so many things. Like I hope that there was a lot of thinking into the leaving part, which I'm assuming it is, seeing as though he didn't have a contract for a long time. But it's like you're leaving behind the Nightmare Factory, leaving it behind, building up that community of wrestlers, and the company that you're trying to go to is the same company that people are leaving. And on top of that, according to WWE, their excuses and stuff like that, they shouldn't even be able to afford Cody Rhodes because they've been releasing how many people due to budget cuts. So it's like, and if I was one of those people that got released, I would be like so pissed off that you sat there and told me that you released me due to budget cuts, but yet you're paying millions of dollars for this guy. So, but and then on top of that, so let's say Cody Rhodes do go to WWE. Now, the craziest thing that can happen is for him to go to WWE and then get booked as a heel against Austin Theory, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, or something like that, to where as though he's no longer the babyface. So, that's why I kind of like feel like it's more about money. Maybe he was anticipating a bigger raise, and since he didn't really get it, like he just really needs to get more money for right now. But if that's what, like I said with Kevin Owens, if that's what really makes him happy, I'm fine with that. If this was like a wrestler going from AEW to WWE, like, and they said, to get the money and stuff like that, I would have no problem with it. But the fact that this is someone who had, booking power and was like very much an advocate for making a change in the wrestling and has talked so much shit about WWE, it's just like, you get slightly concerned because I don't know which Vince McMahon we're going to get here. Are we going to get the business savvy Vince McMahon who realizes I have the top person of AEW? I have basically a hot commodity. If the casuals know who he is, because Cody has been gone for a very long time, to where as though maybe the casuals don't know who he is, and you can't really say where he came from. Like, I'm very curious if they're going to mention he's from AEW. Um, because you have to explain like who he is, or just say he's been gone. I'm sure they're gonna say he's been gone for such and such amount of years and he has come back and stuff. Like they can really take advantage of this and basically kind of like turn a new leaf and say and treat him like gold. Book him, really solid and everything like that. And so to entice maybe some of the AEW originals, because I doubt that we're going to get returns of former WWE stars, but kind of entice some of the AEW originals to jump ship over to WWE. Or, and this is what I feel like is more likely, we're going to get Petty Vince, who is going to treat, and I feel like he's going to be booked nicely for the WrestleMania season, because Vince has to sell out the AT&T Stadium twice, so he needs 200,000 people or 100,000 people twice. I'm sure there's people who booked, got tickets for both nights. He has to entice a lot of people to show up for 4 hours for WrestleMania twice, and so it feels like he's calling in everyone to come in and for WrestleMania. And so I feel like Cody Rhodes will probably be booked very good for the WrestleMania season. Don't know who he would go against, but I feel like he'll be booked very, very strong, very well. It's just after that WrestleMania season that, it's a bit questionable. I'm very curious of what his character will be. Are they going to bring him back as dashing Cody Rhodes? Are they going to have him, pretty much book him like the hottest free agent, Cody Rhodes? Is he going to be just Cody? Is he going to lose his name again? Or is he coming back as Stardust? We have seen Vince McMahon be petty for decades. I have seen myself, Vince McMahon, be very petty for decades. And Vince McMahon can look at Cody and sit there and say, "You're the one who has, took a hand in taking down NXT, and you are the one behind Brian Danielson leaving, and you brought back CM Punk, and just that connection to it, and even Tony Khan talking crap about WWE. It's like you are a part of that, and we seen what happened once WWE got Sting. Instead of booking him strong and say you're the hottest free agent, they turned it into WWE versus WCW. How many years later? They booked him against Triple H at WrestleMania and made it WCW versus WWE, booked the NWO with him, even though they had been feuding the most of the time in WCW. And everyone knew that, like, all the members of NWO are friends with Triple H anyway. So it's just like, are they going to turn this into AEW versus WWE type of situation? Book him against, I don't know, Austin Theory or something crazy like that, and just let him kind of like go down that path. Like there's crazy things that could happen, and so that's why I'm very interested on the contract that he's going to get. Is he going to get any type of say so in his character or anything like that, or promos or whatever? Is he going to be able to keep that show? Is he What's happening with Brandy? Is she going back to WWE, or she's just going to stay home with her daughter? Just a lot of things. And now he's going to be going back to working 5 days a week, um, the live shows and stuff like that, and the house shows and everything. So it's just like I'm very interested to know where all of this is going. There's just so many wild factors, but I cannot wait for him to do that tell-all interview. Um, I don't know. I doubt we're gonna get it, because WWE tends to be kind of hush hush about things. I mean, it'd be a perfect example to use Stone Cold's Broken Sessions and put Cody Rhodes on there, because Stone Cold, he'll bring stories out of people. So I would love to know the behind the scenes of what actually happened and where did it all go wrong, because it really will tell if this is going to be the slow end of AEW, or if this is just going to be a knock against Cody Rhodes. But it's just like it's very interesting for him to go back to WWE, where you have people leaving WWE to go into your company, and them, saying WWE is like a prison and how they feel free and stuff like that. And so now you're going back. The most fucked up thing that they can do is take away his name, so he's back to being Cody again. They book him to be squashed at WrestleMania, and then later on this year, budget cut. And it's like, what are you going to do then, yo? You're going to go back to AEW? You're going to, float around in the indies again? It's just a very crazy situation. It's been a very crazy year, first off. 2022 has been psychotic. People are, guessing that he's going to show up at Elimination Chamber this weekend. But yeah, I cannot wait. This is a crazy, exciting time in wrestling. I have my popcorn ready. I have my wine ready. I am ready to kick my feet back and just watch this whole thing explode. But at the end of the day, this is Cody Rhodes' life and decision. And whatever reason, truthfully, the reason why he leaves really isn't our business. It's his decision, and it's his wife's decision to leave and stuff like that. But I'm still very curious. Like the the curious ass person in me just wants to know. Like I want to know the details. But you know, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think is going on with Cody. Do you agree that this could be about money and ego? Do you feel as though Tony Khan is at fault? And what do you think if Cody Rhodes goes to WWE? Because I feel like there's a 98% chance he's going to WWE. If he's going to WWE, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to have any creative control over his character, the promo and stuff like that? Do you think he's going to be booked as a babyface? Do you think he's going to be booked as a heel? And obviously we're in WrestleMania season. Who do you want him to go against at WrestleMania? Me personally, I think it would be cool for him to go against The Miz, maybe. Um, Randy, possibly Randy Orton, but Randy Orton's in a tag team with Riddle, and I'm sure they're going to be doing something at WrestleMania. But I can see him going against probably The Miz for right now, heat up that storyline, especially if he is trying to be a babyface. The Miz is the perfect person to go against. So yeah, that's why I think it could go. I doubt they're gonna do like Edge or anything like that. There's a rumor that KO is supposed to be going against Stone Cold Steve Austin, but yeah, it's just been a crazy situation. But like this video if you enjoyed it. This is kind of like a series I want to start of just, doing a quick video of whatever the hottest topic is that week in wrestling. Leave a comment below, of what you think about it too. And be sure to subscribe and, let me know that you like this and so I can keep it going as well. To get my full reaction to the Vengeance Day and Elimination Chamber, be sure to check out the next episode of the Wrestlebread podcast, which comes out every Monday on YouTube. You can also listen to it in audio form wherever you listen to your podcast as well. So until next time, guys, peace.